Hey, all you ghosties. We have a very interesting topic today for y'all. We are your hosts, Maria, and Raven. Do you feel like there is more paranormal activity around you? If yes, then you have noticed that the veil is thinning. But first, we have a ghost story that was sent in by a listener, and Marie's going to read it.
All right, perfect. So this story was sent in from Tice. This is called Ghosts Along the Tres Palacios, Matagorda County. Um, well, Ghosts Along that river. So let's get into it. So there's a man named James Abel Morgan, and he was highly influential plantation owner along the Tres Palacios River during 1850 and the 60s. Rather than using slave labor for raising cotton, Abel utilized the enslaved members of his ranch for cattle purposes. His estate gradually became one of the largest in the region, and so during the Civil War, Morgan used his own ranch hands and employees to create a volunteer artillery militia for defense of the greater Matagorda Bay vicinity. Sorry.
Militia.
So, militia.
Yeah.
I'm do militia. No, it's militia vicinity.
So
Oh,
basically, a privatized army.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
Sorry.
So Morgan, however, was a resolute Southerner and was frequently recalled for being overly aggressive towards the Union settlements, right? So when the war ended and the Northern troops started occupying Texas, Morgan was directed to free his slaves or face the swift consequences for not doing so by the Federal forces at Matagorda. So true to his nature, though, Morgan refused to let loose of the slaves until the courier brought him a letter directly from the Union commander of the region, which ordered him to do so. So, tisk tisk. At the threat of an armed excursion against his ranch, Morgan crumbled up a letter and tossed it into the murky river. He directed all of his ranch hands to round up the slaves, so about 14 in number, and then he'll bring them to the main household, which actually sat along the river itself near the Highway 35 crossing. So, at the side of the main plantation estate along the river was a dense stretch of oak trees with firm branches. So once the enslaved laborers were present, Morgan had them all bound together and hung them one by one from a strand of 7 trees. Following their murderers, the corpses were taken to a secluded portion of a nearby group of woods and interned in a solitary mass grave. The forest was then set ablaze by cattle workers, and then buried site was densely covered over by toppled vegetation and dirt. Ugh! And so when Morgan was confronted by the Union troops, he related that he had released all the former slaves, and all of them decided to remove themselves from the ranch from places of their own choice. The burial site was never actually found, but the knowledge of the atrocity, blah blah, ATRO cities that James Abel Morgan had, uh, that James Abel Morgan had committed very well lingered amongst the recollection of the ones that he had worked for them on that gruesome day. His ranch continued to prosper, and his personal estate along the Trespass Palacios River was not finally brought down until 1983. That's wild. But there's more, okay? So, despite there being like floods and hurricanes all over the generations, the 7 trees that were used for the executions are actually still standing today. I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable. So, the forest, however, has grown exclusively since 1865, and through the modern descendants of James Morgan have tried to locate the mass burial site of the murdered slaves. It has still yet to be uncovered. However, most of the family members have experienced ghostly encounters at the sites of the hangings through the years. I would say so. If somebody hung me, I'm going to hang around and haunt you.
Especially if they're undiscovered
Yeah.
Yeah, because
and not
they need,
proper burials.
they need to make their peace. So If y'all know where Kerrville is, Jonathan Pierce of Kerrville, Texas, is an ex boyfriend of one of Morgan's descendants. Late one summer evening in 2021, he and his ex girlfriend decided to conduct a amateur ghost hunt of the former site of Jane Morgan's Trespalashes Manor. It was the perfect night for such an outing. The moon was full, the temperature was unusually pleasant for lower Texas for that season, and the two arrived at the location around 10 p.m. Okay, so it's getting pretty dark, right? But not completely dead time, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Um, so Jonathan's ex-girlfriend was well familiar with the story, and he and knew with absolute certainty there were 7 oak trees where they were where the trees were at. Sorry, so the only visible remnants of James Morgan's estate along Trespalashes remaining are a few foundation stones and a badly depleted garage that was built next to the house in the 1940s. So just a few yards beyond are the trees where the executions happened. I had been out there a couple times beforehand during the daylight because there was just good fishing hole right there in that river. Jonathan told the author in the interview with him just a few days later, after there wasn't any particular unsettling about those trees during the daytime, but at night, especially during the full moon, it was definitely more like of an eerie feeling. Um, so Jonathan and his ex-flame started feeling uncomfortable almost immediately. Although both of them were devout outdoorsy people, the warm summer winds that were causing the branches to scratch against themselves were somewhat unnerving. So Jonathan joked to her that the scraping of the tree limbs sounded fairly close to the ropes and swaying in the breeze. Ugh, I just gotta chill. Okay, this is getting good. So she didn't like me saying that. He related that later, but they got closer nonetheless and brought out our phones to try and capture some ghost voices. We started asking questions, which I gotta say I felt kind of foolish because they were talking into the darkness. We listened to the audio after every question, but never really heard until name omitted for privacy said that James Morgan was her relative and that she wanted to openly apologize for everything that he did to them there. It was almost instantly that everything around the two went very still. The wind itself seemed to have gone silent, and according to Jonathan, a deep, unsettling feeling overcame both of them to the point that they talked about heading back to the truck and leaving. Honestly, I probably would too. I feel that. So there was something like off-putting in the atmosphere after she said that. Both of us just wanted to get the hell out of there, and it was like we could feel a bunch of people just watching us, kind of like a weird feeling you'd get in a crowd when you'd say something stupid, but weren't embarrassed. It just felt threatened, I guess, is the best way to describe it. Jonathan's ex-girlfriend started asking another question, but right beside them there was a sounding like footsteps in the brush. It scared the hell out of us. Jonathan related to me. I shined the flashlight in its direction, totally expecting to see someone standing out there, but we didn't see anything, so I thought I looked for an animal or something that maybe might be going through the brushes. But as soon as Jonathan was about to step away from his girlfriend, the same footsteps came charging directly between them, and his ex's head went flying upwards as her ponytail was aggressively pulled backwards. So it's kind of like a, it sounds like, um, hair pulled back, slap up, if you can't see the video. She dropped her phone, screaming in both pain and terror until she felt herself let loose. I'm sorry. Go away. She grabbed the phone and got back in the truck, and we got out of there real fast. Okay, so once the two had gotten back to Jonathan's house and somewhat like calmed down, they actually decided to go ahead and review the video. Um, and she had taken that in the exact moment that her hair was pulled back. I personally got to watch the same footage as well and can attest to its authenticity. As soon as Jonathan,
Authenticity.
It's too early.
You're good. I'm just helping.
So, as soon as Jonathan steps away towards the brush, there is a rustling sound that can be heard coming towards his ex girlfriend. Without even having to listen intently, a deep voice can be heard exclaiming a deeply derogatory remark at her. And right after the phone falls into the grass and she screams out as her hairs pull backwards. When Jonathan picks up the phone, he can hear him let out a breath when he gets struck by something in the ribs. True to what he told me, he did not hesitate after being hit and took off for the truck. However, in the one quick frame that happens directly before being punched, the blurry image of a man's face can be seen right next to Jonathan's. A screenshot later reveals some facial details to that. So both Jonathan and I most definitely looks like that of an African American male. So Jonathan and his ex-girlfriend never went back to that site of the James Morgan's plantation estate following that night. They separated a few months later at the start of 22 and have not reconciled after or since. I tried to reach out to her and see if she had the video from that encounter, but as of this writing, November 23, she has not responded to my inquiry. Other members of the Morgan family have experienced apparitions, voices, and similar feelings of dread and uncomfort at the strand of the seven oak trees along the shoreline of Transpassus River. So where's the that was pretty good.
That
You
one
know,
was.
Yes.
once I got pretty far into it, hopefully I was reading it right, but um oh man, that's creepy. But that's pretty good. I like that. Which kind of brings us into our topic today.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it
Veil
does.
thinning.
And
So,
that's spots like that are exactly what we're talking about sometimes.
mhm, that's
It's tragedy. It leaves a mark on the land.
so there's been stories of this, but it kind of all he kind of put the story together, you know. I think this was really good. I want to double check that and make sure it wasn't his friends, but
What I like about it is he gave us the history of the land and then the ghost story. I love that part.
yes,
Yes.
So we can feel it leading up to the why it might be haunted and what type of haunting it might be.
yes. So, and if I have to say trust Palacios one more time, I'm going to take a shot. Start taking shots every time. um, it is too early out here, y'all. So, okay, so what? So let's talk about this. So, what is veil thinning? Like, why is it? It's kind of important to go over this because lately, because we were talking, lately it has been like it has been thin, and then it's kind of calmed down a little bit. But as we go into October, it's going to thin out a little bit more. So we want everybody to be a little bit prepared.
Yeah, especially with harvest season coming up, the air thinning with getting colder out in some areas. But it's also the planet alignments going on right now. The planets are really aligning for different feelings, different, you can feel it outside. It's a little different.
Yeah, you'll get that morning crisp air,
Hmm.
and even though like we're kind of more south, it's cool. The temps are coming down a little bit. We still got the humidity, but it's coming down. And so this is when everybody starts going into Halloween fall mode. You're getting your pumpkin spice, or for me, apple, but really getting back into it. So everybody starts to feel a little bit more happier because they're outside a little bit more. So the veil thinning, just to kind of go over like what it is real quick. So they say it's like the thinnest around October 31st, and it's told that the veil thins as the autumn leaves and the things of nature seem to go back into the earth, and therefore leaving a larger space for higher consciousness. Help me out, Maria. Consciousness to occur. um, Basically, it's just again changing the seasons. While the world feels at its happiness, the veil thins, showing us more paranormal activity, where we're able to see the spirits a little bit more better. It's a little bit more active. voices could be heard from it, potentially voices that have passed on, just to the
Y'all
other
keep
side.
y'all keep telling me this is when I'm gonna have my aha moment
I mean, I'm not. I
is
can't tell the
during this
future,
veil
but I have a
thinning.
hunch. Your dreams are already starting. Mhm.
It's also a time of rejuvenation for some of us.
Yes.
Out with the old, in with the new. It's a great time to get out and visit your local loved ones if you can. Great time to take them maybe something like flowers or just remembrance for them. But it's also a time to remember too. The past always will affect the future, but this time of the year is a great time for it. It's a great time to get outside, smell the flowers, smell the, before they're taken down, before winter takes them
Smell
back.
the pumpkin spice.
Oh, no, I don't do pumpkin spice,
I know. I
but
don't like spice either.
I
Go
don't.
ahead.
But it's the perfect time of the year because Mother Nature will take them back soon for the
Yeah.
winter for us up here. And
Yeah.
everything's turning colors and it's beautiful.
So I wonder, like, my biggest question when I was writing, like, the notes and everything, I'm like, well, I wonder why that is. And I couldn't seem to get that answered. But maybe it's because we're outside a little bit more, like you said, we're spending time out in nature. We're a little bit more mindful. We're a little bit more self aware. And we're paying attention to all of our senses. And and maybe this is a time of quieting down our busy lives and our minds so that we may become more in tune with our higher selves and the spirit or divine, whoever you believe in, thus being more self aware. And, sorry, just basically connecting spiritually to yourself. I think it was the main thing around this time when it's thinning. These are the best times to meditate.
Yes. It's also the best time to literally get out of your house before, remember, we're going into longer, darker days, people. So it is the perfect time to get out, soak up that sunlight while you still can. And not only that, get out at night too and look up at the stars. You're going to see it crisper right now, and you are going to see different planets aligning right now. You got to remember that
Yeah.
that time of the year is upon us.
Oh my gosh. You know, the retrogrades right now that we have at
Yeah.
least three. And so two, well, by this time that you're listening to it, last Tuesday on the 17th, there is an Aries right now. And there's supposed to be an eclipse in Aries or something. And so that's going to be freaking wild. I told my man, you better not break up with me on Tuesday or Wednesday, just in case. Because it's the time for like Aries to be like this is their
Rejuvenations,
this is their time when they're kind of coming into something new. They're letting go of old habits, old things, old way of thinking. And
renewals.
yep, and everybody in this house except for me and my youngest are Aries. My oldest son's an Aries. Oh Lord, I'm gonna wait till Wednesday to check on him.
And if you don't believe that, just go out and watch a farmer's field right now. They are literally cutting down some of them. They're retilling underneath the old earth into the new. You can literally see it happening all around you. It's happening like right now
Yeah.
into October, into November.
So
It's pretty
this,
cool.
so the So there's like different signs or types that they're coming. I don't know if you saw that, Maria. There's okay. I'll just tell you. There's a transition between day and night, and it's believed to be a time when the veil is thin. We liminal moments create a harmonious bridge between the mundane and the mystical, fostering a conductive environment for spiritual practices. You hear all my big words?
And it's also known as the bewitching hour
There you go.
in between 3 and 4 a.m.
I've always wondered, like, isn't it dead time? Because, like,
It's
growing
dead
up,
time.
well, I mean, would it be like 12 to 4:30, 4:59.
That's how I feel, but they call it in between 3 and 4 a.m. bewitching hours. I'm like, that's all night, but okay, we'll go with that. But that's that what pretty much what you're talking about, ain't it?
Yeah. So we're just embracing the concept that the veil thins and it provides opportunity for spiritual growth, connection. Whether you are drawn to dawn or dusk, pagan holidays, or celestial events, you're understanding these moments and you're allowing you to navigate the Eureka energies with intention. Sorry.
It's so true, though. It don't matter what you're really believing in, it all aligns with something around this time of
Mm-hmm.
year. You're
Yeah.
totally 100% correct.
It's like, so as long as you're approaching it with like respect, mindfulness, commitment to your spiritual well-being, definitely take advantage of this. This may not be like a long podcast because it's pretty straightforward. Um, but we're cutting. We're now. Fun fact. I'm sorry. I'm just talking so much all of a sudden because I don't know why. And so, did you know in Christianity, if you cut the veil, that's a good sign you're dead?
Interesting.
Interesting. It's also Day of the Dead in some
Mhm.
cultures is October, like going into November, for that one. And then you have other ones. You got the Gaelic celebrations the same high. I can't say it right if somebody wants to correct me, but you had it's
Maria.
also known as the Festival of the Dead. So is
Yeah.
this actually kind of interesting if you look all over the world what they're doing? And we kind of take that into America and just use some of it. Oh, we light candles, we light our pumpkins up, we go trick or treating and stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Yes.
Kind of took a little from each one,
So,
I think.
did you know that the veil thins during the autumn and the spring?
Equinox.
Not
Yep.
just, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I did
This
not
is
know
just
that, but
this one is the bigger one due to the fact that our senses are more heightened
Mhm.
this time of the year. And it has a couple veil thinnings throughout the year. And it's actually interesting to read up on it.
That would make sense too because you're coming out of the
We
winter.
could
You're kind of trying to get rid of those ghosts, and you're going into spring cleaning. For like, if you celebrate Easter, I'm an Easter fan, but it makes sense with like
you
the
know,
equinox.
you also have hibernation coming out and stuff like that. Things going back into Mother Earth rotation.
Oh, everybody having more babies, like
Oh,
animal wise.
animal wise. Not here, but
No,
animal wise.
not on this channel.
Nope,
No,
not
ma'am.
today.
I rebuke that.
People's
Leave
altars.
now, beside Satan. Out with you.
People's altars this time of the year might be seeing a lot more flowers, candles for their loved ones. Some favorite food may be set out on their altar this time of the year. Going in, I'm talking the end of October. You're going to see a lot more of that in people's personal altars and personal beliefs too.
So basically, what you're
So,
saying, this is the time to not go look for ghosts, but to celebrate the dead.
Celebrate your dead.
Okay.
yes.
Don't forget it. Don't. I'm not saying mourn your dead. I'm telling to celebrate, to
Yeah.
mourn. Mourn their passing, of course, but celebrate their life. They did live. They were here. And we should never look upon death sometimes as a tragedy when you can actually find some inner peace with it, to me.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird, but celebrate their life.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? I see your
I
hand.
found
That's
I
10
why.
know.
common signs. I'm keeping myself awake. I found 10
Oh.
common signs you're feeling like the veil is thinning. You guys want to hear them?
Oh, yeah. I
Sleep
want to hear
is
them.
really rough. Sleep is really rough. Like falling asleep. Oops, I just pushed a button. Hold on.
That's the story of my life.
That's
It's going to
sleep.
get
What's
better.
that?
Dreaming is exhausting.
Girl, preach. Don't get me started. I was literally at work today. I was at work today. I was an hour and 75 minutes late, but I did not care, and it was not a me issue. It was an electronic issue, and I literally did not care. But then at the end of the dream, I did care. I was like, "Oh, what if I really do get in trouble for that?" And the day before, I was
Oh
walking
my.
up a bunch of stairs, so it's exhausting. It really is. It's a workout. But am
It
I
is.
am I like benefiting from it? No. So, anyways, I'm moving on.
Your house is like a grand central station for spirits.
I
Absolutely.
I feel attacked, Raven. I feel attacked.
Just wait. Just wait. Just wait. It's
Triggered.
Trigger warning.
your your furry baby seemed to be literally going insane.
Girl, mine
Hmm.
is in heat. Mine is in heat right now. I thought she was pregnant. She's not pregnant. She's in heat. I'm surprised
Mine
you don't
gets
hear her in the background going,
bouncing off the
Yeah.
"Ugh."
walls. I got bit the other
Oh,
day for the first time.
oh, well, yeah, your cat is not a hot mess, but she's something different. I remember that conversation I had with her on the live or before live, and I was like, listen. And she like looked at me like, who are you talking to?
She keeps staring. Like she has this thing right now. She's staring like up in corners and just for like an hour straight. We're like, "Are you okay?" But
Oh, well, most of those EVPs from like that other, what was it? The conspiracy? No, it was
No, it was
the one before
coming into
that.
your gifts, I think.
yes,
That one had all those EVPs. Y'all know where they came from? They came from Raven's house. I've said
yeah.
it.
Thank you for calling me out. It is dark
Oh.
in here sometimes. Like I wake up like this is my house. Yep, I can feel it. I feel it. It's cold. It's hot in here. Then it's cold. Yeah, that's
You're
my house.
like one eye open and you're like, is there anybody there?
I know I'm not alone. Like I know that. You can feel that.
You might be feeling lonely every once in a while, but you don't feel alone. That's
Never
awful.
alone.
Never alone.
So being sick is just normal now.
Oh, I rebuke that.
I
You
yeah.
can have that.
Which
I,
it is right. It's
yeah,
that time of the year.
You
the
feel like
nausea.
you're living in the saddest movie ever.
Depression's going to be starting setting for some of us.
Yeah.
It's the longer nights, less sunlight, seasonal. So I can get that. I can get on board with that one.
I be getting depressed during the summer, but I get really happy during the cold and winter months.
I'm the opposite.
During
I'm
the
like,
summer, I'm like, this is depressing. It's too hot.
I love this. It's also to do with longer nights, less sun.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you're coming into the holidays, the Hallmark holidays, and
Huh.
don't get me started on that.
You have moments where you feel like you're in another world.
Okay,
I'm not even
well,
going to
that
answer that one.
I'm just saying, if like you're writing more, then obviously you are in a different world because your imagination's quiet. And also, if you're smoking the herbs, which I don't do,
I don't do.
I mean, I'm sure you're in a different. I mean, we're all in our little worlds. We're because also, sorry, hello, Apple season. We're all in our different world because we're like, I am an outside girl now. I have a hat and I have my pumpkin coffee and coffee. And
Coffee.
I I barely have to go outside now because my parents brought us the riding lawnmower, so it doesn't take a weekend to mow the yard anymore.
well,
So
that
I'm like,
was,
nope, I'm staying inside.
yeah, I feel that. Um, okay, what's the next one?
Suddenly you're the most psychic of all psychics in the psychic world.
I'm not psychic, but I definitely am the most medium of most mediums of all mediums. Right, Raven? Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm not psychic.
Definitely not psychic. If I were, my life would go a lot differently.
I see
You
more
smell
past.
things more paths.
Past. Past stuff.
Oh,
Mhm.
I thought you said paths, and I was like, that's cool.
Oh, that's path. Yeah, that's different. But yeah.
Yeah, you can like look at a person and be like, this has heartbreak all over you. Or if you go dating and you're like, I don't like this vibe. Goodbye. Unless like you're not self aware, then or or you're just I'll shut up.
We're all like looking at you like
It was spiraling. Did you see how it was spiraling
like
there?
we always say, rabbit hole.
You smell things that aren't there, so you're constantly on WebMD making sure you're not having a stroke.
For being
Well, I don't know if I'm on WebMD, but I do be smelling like cigarettes here lately. Or
It's always upstairs in your house,
yeah, we thought
like in
maybe it
your
was the guy
closet
that we thought it was like the guy that
area.
was mowing, but this was happening before he was here, and this was actually happening when I first met my man. Like there was cigarette smoke.
I think it's something attached to him, honestly.
Oh man, don't say that.
I'm just telling you what I feel.
I can't sage the poor guy. He barely lets me sage my
I have an
office.
idea. I have an
when he's
idea.
sleeping. But go on.
If
I
I
have an
could,
idea. I
hmm,
have an idea. Put some of that cleansing spray in his body wash.
I could try. As long as it's, well, maybe. He has sensitive skin. Maybe I could just spray him before he leaves.
Spray your bed.
Yeah, spray your bed.
Yeah, could do that.
Or you often, okay, the last one is you often feel like you're on fire or freezing to death for no reason.
I contribute that to premenopausal.
I know. I feel that, like, if your hormones are all messed up,
But it
Mine's
could
my
be this right
elbow.
there.
It's
like, I'm
just my elbow. It always feels cold, even if it's not cold.
right now, I'm like almost sweating, like it's hot.
I have a sweater on with my window open.
But like last
Yeah,
night, I
you.
was freezing to death, and I had to turn up the AC.
Okay. So, here, you want to know some ways that maybe we can survive this veil thinning? I don't know if I'm going to survive.
You'll
I may
survive.
be impaled by the end of
I'm
it.
a survivor.
Kidding. So, resting is important. You got to
Not
rest.
losing your mind.
Yeah. You can use a dream journal so you don't.
So much
Drink some water
typing.
too. Apparently, that's good for it.
I don't drink water.
You like water?
Uh,
I don't like water.
I have never drank so much water in my life until I got my circle bottle. And I have, there's some days I regret drinking so much water because I have to wake up so many times to go to the bathroom.
You're hydrated.
Yeah, a little too hydrated.
I gotta wait for my stomach to like settle. Like, cause I usually would try to drink like a glass in the morning and a glass before I go to bed, and then try to sneak one in there somewhere. But in the mornings now, I'm like so nauseous. I'm like I can't. Not because I'm pregnant. Don't get any ideas. Conscious.
None from me.
So basically, just to kind of round us up for a little bit of a short episode today, um, just this is the time you're gonna start connecting to yourself spiritually. Really take in the moment, really enjoy this fall. If you see something, sage it, or just throw the holy water at it. Just be more self-aware. Oh, also, sorry, another fun fact. In science, if you have veil thinning, it means you're uncovering secrets.
And don't forget, between this right now, coming into October and November, we're between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice. So also remember that will impact every time between the two because we're
Yeah.
fading into the winter. I hate to use the word fading, but
I'm fading
it's
away.
kind of true. The sun's fading more, so
Yeah.
it's fading into the winter solstice. So that will have an effect on the veil.
So just if you have any, so wrapping this up a little bit, if you have any questions, put it in the comments. Please like and subscribe and send us in your ghost stories. We will love to hear them. And just the thoughts again, just embrace your concept and use this opportunity for spiritual growth and connection. So, anyways, we're leaving here today with respect, mindfulness, and a commitment to our spiritual well being. Thank you for listening, and y'all have a good fall.
And blessed be, guys.